Hey, what's going on? Shane here from Vulgar Display Gaming, and today I'm joined by Max and Daniel of the band Dvne, with a V.
Hello.
How the hell you guys doing?
Yeah, that's the V.
That's
Not too bad, man. Not too bad, Sean. How you did?
I'm doing all right.
Same.
Yeah, it's a nice rainy morning for us for once in LA. You guys, how's the weather for you guys right now?
Max is probably sunny. I've got rain in Edinburgh, but then it's Scotland where you know. So
when is it not raining there, right?
About 3 days a year.
So
yeah, very short summer. So
hey, there you go.
I live in Eastern France, and Eastern France is actually well known for its shitty weather. So I would say that it's equally rainy as Scotland. But today we got a wonderful sunny day, maybe the first in months.
Hopefully you went outside and got some sun before it goes away, right?
That's not the game. No, I'm spending my day in front of my computer.
Nice.
That's sweet.
Hey, there you go. Well, gentlemen, I want to kick it off with congratulating you on the new album coming out, Voidkind. I've been fortunate enough to listen to it. Simply phenomenal. It's great. Blends all sorts of genres of music together, you know, kind of like subgenres of metal. And like I noticed, like we were talking earlier, you had a lot of sci-fi influences on this. Talk more about that. How does all of that play into your writing for this album?
Yeah. I mean, from the sort of sci-fi influence side of things, I mean, everyone in their band has their own sort of levels of nerding. Whether that's from stuff we're watching, stuff we're reading, but there's always that sort of background of taking a bit of influence from sort of whatever it is that people tend to be reading or whatever at the time. A couple of things on this one, definitely sort of Dan Simmons' Hyperion. I think some of the themes from that crept its way into this, I think is fair to say. Myself, I've always got a load of, say, like Alistair Reynolds or those sort of big epic sci-fi classics. But yeah, I mean, that all sort of, you've got that, and then combined with the actual writing of the music itself and how the sort of themes come together from both the songs themselves, because a lot of the time we write those before the actual themes and the lyrics and everything like that are actually worked on a lot of time. The guitars are already down, so some of the thematics comes from the music itself. You know, you've got sort of like, this bit's big and heavy, so we need something horrible and gnarly to write about for this. But then some of it's inversely sort of influenced by the themes of this piece as well.
No, that's awesome, because I saw that you were a big Dan Simmons fan. Like, that's fucking cool. Epic novels and all of that. Are there any other literary works that worked in the writing process for anything you guys done?
Yeah, I mean, loads. I mean, you'd notice before the sort of warhammer models behind me. There's bits of that creep in. I'd say a lot of Alistair Reynolds influence on stuff. Even like the more sort of fantasy elements as well as sci-fi. That sort of creeps in. Stephen Erickson, who wrote the Malazan series, even though like our stuff tends to be a bit more like sci-fi than that a lot of his writing, and especially I've read a lot of it in the last sort of couple of years, that sort of crept in to some of the way I think some of the prose and stuff was done on this album. He's got a great character called, I think it's Fisher Kelta. Try not too many spoilers, but that's sort of repeating poet that turns up a lot, so that sort of writing as well. I think I'd get that bit of a nice influence on this album.
Nice. Going back, like, I just want to go towards the concept of this album. From what I understood, it was like kind of a narrative journey of like a religious group going through generations or something. And then how did you guys go about coming up with that concept? Like, did you storyboard it first before you started writing music, or you wrote music, then you're like, hey, let's add this story to it?
It wasn't a proper storyboard, but we exchanged ideas. Most of the ideas came from Dan and Victor, and after that we were all putting things on small documents to add some elements on the lore, and putting things on the table, taking all these things, taking also a lot of influence and things. No, I wouldn't speak of topics that we had to put on the record, but there was some sort of way of saying things, as I would say. And at the end of that way of building the main history, we took some elements like chapters and we made some songs out of them.
Hell, that's awesome. That makes sense. Yeah, you just do it piece at a time, and then it comes more cohesive that way. I'm sure you guys were tossing ideas back and forth, like, "Hey, does this work here? How's that go?" Instead of coming up with a big overall concept that you guys are trying to understand.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got that. So I mean, the way things usually are is that a lot of the music's also sort of done before that concept's finalized. Like it's always there in the background and being sort of worked on as we're throwing out those sort of initial ideas. But then you also have the matter of sort of then drilling down, going as Max sort of mentioned, into like almost like chapters. But with it being this sort of like multi-generational approach to the narrative as well, it gives us some quite nice sort of leeway just to sort of go, right, this is quite nice because not everything has to follow directly on from each other and like songs change order and everything like that. So it's like, okay, how can this work? Well, if this changes around and this changes around and this changes around, does it still work?
So your first single was kind of different than your other kind of music. What is it? Was it? Forgive me if I mispronounce it. Plerdma.
But close.
Okay, I was close.
Do you want it with or without the French accent?
with the French accent. Let's do it proper.
Well, Pleroma was the like Dan said actually.
Oh, there we go.
You'll sound sexy though. So.
Exactly. How'd you guys go about? Yeah.
Well, we might keep your way of saying that thing because what's like a kind
it's the American version. Plerdma. No, but that song is like really different from other stuff you guys wrote. How did you guys go about that? Like, fuck it, we're doing so. And then, especially with the addition of you, Max, like you're fairly new to all of this. How do you go about adding new stuff to this? You know?
Oh, well, I guess that it was pretty. When the thing has been written, when Pleroma has been written, it was just a draft of songs between all the others. But we were all on the. All good with the more, I would say, a calm vibe and more straightforward type of song, which is, it's actually almost a chorus verse, bridge verse song, more or less. Things that we haven't done before, and that I don't know if you got, since that's the first album I'm doing with June, that I don't think that on the previous album there was such type of songs. I don't know if I'm correct, Dan.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, this is really different, and it's awesome.
And like,
I think we sort of knew that we wanted to do some things a bit different with this album and not just sort of repeat what we'd done before and have everything 9-10 minute epic tracks that
those are cool too. I'm all for it, but no.
I mean, they're awesome, and they're still going to be those ones on there. But I'm not sure if it was so much a like specific conscious decision of we need to write something a bit shorter and punchier and whatever. But the guys, when they were working on stuff... Sorry, Max, go on.
No, sorry. When it has been brought on the table, it was fairly, in a logical way, and no one said, this is something that we've never done, we might not do this one. Things went quite different when we were in the studio, because we were adding layers and synth, and especially the vocals, which are quite different than what we've been doing before. And at this time, we were asking ourselves, does this have this is not like the whole mood of the album. This is definitely a very unique song, and this is something we've never done before. And there was some sort of I wouldn't say stakes, but we consult ourselves and we said, let's go for it. Let's try this actually. And when we sent the record to the label, Metal Blade said, that is the first single, and we were like, ooh, whoa.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That was chosen as the first single because it stood out. It was like, fuck, I was like, oh shit, this is really different from what you guys have written before.
And since one of the main goals of this album is to bring some different things on the table and act a real evolution on the sound of the band, that was the perfect occasion to bring something that we are not familiar with, even us. When we started to play this song, we went through a lot of wow, this is quite different. We actually have to find a way to make it ours, even though we wrote it. But this was a kind of interesting trip into that song, especially.
What about like the musical influences going into this album? You guys probably all come from different backgrounds. Did you guys ever, it seems like every band I talk to has that one album like we want to sound like this sound, this tone, you know. What did you guys bring into this album? What were you guys listening to?
I mean, I can't speak too much for the guitar writing just because like Victor and Alan wrote the majority of this. Despite I played guitar in the band, I was living in Leeds at the time. So they did a lot of the guitar writing, but there's always a load of different influences coming in from the songs from both the sort of metal point of view. I mean, you've obviously got sort of bands like Cult of Luna, Mastodon, a lot of bands we've sort of played in and around on tour the previous sort of couple of years that are always big influences, stuff like Opeth that we would cross paths with and seen a couple of times. But then as well outside of that, you've got like movie soundtracks and game soundtracks and sort of Middle Eastern influence, sort of more traditional music bits like the bands like Tanarwin or that escaped me off the top of my head. But yeah, I think the nice thing is because we're all from we've all got that sort of heavy background, but in varying different ways, and we're all from slightly different genre backgrounds and all. I think good about 10 years difference between the oldest and youngest members and stuff. So that having that sort of mix of influences is always awesome.
For the synthy part of the writing process, things were quite different because that was the first time that synth was took more to that place, a place that is that important compared to ETM&NK. And we tried to brought some sort of another electronic culture onto the synth sound. That's what we were aiming with Victor. Victor has done a bunch of synth line too, but we were mostly thinking with Graham, the guy who produced the album, about bringing some sort of a lo-fi and IDM legacy into that music, which I haven't listened to a lot in the metal scene actually. When you were speaking synth in metal, most of the time it's something that serves the guitar work, I would say. For example, in Cult of Luna, that's totally that. It's something that have to follow the guitar stuff. And when we were thinking of the synth on this album, we were more thinking of strange textures and to make things more, I would say, cinematic than more melodical stuff. There is also a lot of melodical Cult of Luna-ish lead onto it, because we also love that kind of thing, but I was more thinking about the ambient stuff.
Yeah. Like I said, it doesn't have to be metal. Like, you can't just be a metal guy when you're listening to this, because everybody brings in so many different influences. Like you said, movie soundtracks, game soundtracks, this whole cinematic ambience to this music is just amazing. It's like super heavy, but it's weirdly mellow at the same time, if that makes sense, you know? It just kind of puts you in a trance, and I love it. I was like, holy shit, like, this could be its own movie soundtrack.
For example, if we are actually speaking game soundtrack, actually, when we were recording the album, just a few months before that, I was playing that indie game called Signalis. I don't know if you heard of it.
What was it? Cygnus?
Signalis.
Signalis.
Or SIGNALIS. This is an indie game. I'll take it for you.
Yeah.
Our indie game, which is some sort of a tribute of all the first Resident Evil. Sorry.
Oh, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I think I heard of this though. It was like they're kind of like a remake of it or something, like a fan-made one, kind of.
Yeah, some sort. Basically, it's the gameplay of Resident Evil 1 with Evangelion theme and a bit of Silent Hill 2. That is really something to replay. I love this fucking game. And the fact is, I was listening to the original soundtrack, and there was a lot of noisy stuff with very lo-fi pianos, and I sent the OST to Victor and said, play that shit. Listen to that OST. That's what's gonna be on the album. We definitely got a steal idea from this kind of thing. And the fact is, that was not the beginning of the philosophy of the synth work on the album, but more or less. And this was that kind of thing. And a good thing is that even the topics and the scheme of that game was also a good thing to start thinking of the album, topic-wise.
Yeah, see, just doing stuff in your free time, you come to all these kind of artistic revelations. You're like, holy shit, we need to sound like this.
Well, I would say I kind of touch and move by this. This is something that I know. This is something that resonates in me. Let's go for it. That means that I got some sort of a Lovecraftian feeling when you like, oh, I don't know why, but I'm gonna go that way. Even it means communicating with giant squids and stuff.
Hey, that's how it works, right? And then going off of that, how you guys got all this inspiration, what about your cover art? That cover art's kind of like wild. I was like, holy shit, like this is pretty cool too. I'm like looking at it again. It's like, I like the aspect of the, like the cultist kind of group in it and everything. How'd you guys go about choosing that design? Or did you guys put input into it, or everybody toss different ideas?
It's a bit more a similar sort of process, and everyone will go away and sort of find a few artists that they've found, and like we like to usually work with a different person each album just to make sure that specific album has its own sort of unique sort of feel to it. And yeah, it's just about sort of we all go away. I think we all wanted something that was definitely sort of darker than what we'd done before. More fit with the sort of album themes and the sort of red and black and gold. Using a lot of black, which we've not really done before. For a metal band, we'd use very little black.
Yeah, I noticed that. Because like I pulled it up right now and I'm just like, holy shit, it's kind of creepy. It's like got this weird kind of, like, I don't know, the god or something there, and it looks like there's a child in the center or something.
Yeah, he's got a nice portal in his chest that you can read what you like into, I think.
Hey, that's what it is.
No, I mean, it's usually just a matter of going through until we find a few people we might want to work with, dropping them a message, see who's up for it, and yeah, we had a really good relationship, and yeah, it's good to work. I mean, the nice thing as well is you get to work with people who are excited to do the project as well. But yeah, Max, did you throw in a few ideas for this one as well?
Not that much actually, just a few tiny bips and bobs, which we didn't get actually. But we all thought about it. That was part of the brainstorming process that I was telling you about a few moments ago. Like that there was a bit of feeling with according to the main scheme and topic of the album, and we already thought about people we might work with. But actually, when we actually choose to work with the guy who made the album, I can't remember the name of the guy. Things went quite straightforward. He said yes. We sent the directions we wanted. He sent us that. We made a few adjustments, and that was it.
Oh, that's
the artist is Felix Abelclair.
Okay, great, awesome. So yeah, when it came to like deciding all of that, you're like putting all these different inputs in there. Have you guys ever thought about like releasing a graphic novel or something with this? Because that'd be the perfect companion piece to this album.
It's discussed every album.
Every album.
Yeah, it's discussed every album. The budget never quite stretches to the full graphic novel, unfortunately. But something like that would be great.
And the answer is always, we don't have time for that yet.
You can just try it. Just do your own stick figure comic. Just have a good cover art. Then people open up like, what the fuck is this?
That's it, Max. You do all the doodles for it. Be fine. And then,
there you go. There you go. I'm just saying, it's just
we'd love to do something like that in future. You know what I mean? If we get the opportunity, that or we've discussed going down the sort of animation route of having sort of short animation done instead sort of thing. All these sort of things have been obviously great. It's time and money ever alive.
Yeah. Or here's an even easier option. Since you're into Warhammer, I don't know if you're into any other role-playing games, come up with a pen and paper game for it. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know,
just get on Kickstarter and you get the.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. So when you
can borrow money from Wizards of the Coast to
hey, release some Dune Magic cards, right? That'd be cool. Hey, when it was coming down to like writing this album, though, you guys mentioned you wanted to capture a lot of your live sound and like be more, have that kind of feel to it. Did you guys record anything together, or were you guys still recording separately?
Sorry, go on.
No, sorry. But I think that we are gonna say the same thing. But all the guitars, bass, and drums have been recorded in the same place, live condition, the more live and organic way we can get. And we made some additional things. Synth came after that, and vocals came even after that. So it was what I think it's the most efficient mix of those two worlds. All the guitars and the organic thing was called on the purest and more organic way of recording them. And after that, we went through the re-recording stuff.
Yeah, and for the actual writing process itself, the way the guys tended to work on it was, although they were sort of working on riffs and stuff separately at home, everything they were also jamming out in the practice room, over quite a substantial amount of time. So I think that sort of, as you mentioned, that sort of essence of getting the sort of live sound and energy also came a lot from, I think, them having the time and space to sort of jam out all those ideas in a not quite live environment, but rather than it just being sat at home and you've read it in your room and that's it, the song's done. Let's put a drum track to it. There's a lot more sort of involved jamming and probably a lot more arguments around what stuff's going where and what's staying in and what's going out. But I think that sort of, it's important to get in the room and jam that stuff out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, because you guys aren't like, I know Max is in France, you're in Edinburgh, like how is everybody else? Like everybody else kind of close to each other? Or?
Yeah, so I'm just back in Edinburgh. I lived down in Leeds, which is in North England, for the last sort of 3 years. I moved down there mid-COVID. So I'm recently back up here. Victor and Dudley, that's the drummer and the guitarist, they stay in Edinburgh. Alan, who's also written a lot of the guitar on this album, he stays sort of an hour outside Edinburgh. And then Max is out in France.
Yeah.
And then there's another guy, Alex, who occasionally drops in for us to play bass as well. He's currently based in Edinburgh. He was down in London for a while. But yeah, we have a long storied history of a lot of members all over the place.
That's what I'm seeing. It's just, yeah, I mean, hey, that's the what's great about technology and everything. You guys can be far away, send each other riffs, send each other's ideas and everything. But when you guys were,
even when I was down in Leeds, it was I was getting stuff sent so I can start writing lyrics over and start getting ideas and stuff like that. So it's the wonders of the modern world.
Yeah, and you guys recorded in some different locations, didn't you? Like I got, I can't even say that. Craggy Hall? Is that how you say that? It's like, it seems like you guys went to 2 different places to record.
Yes, the first place was a special tiny mansion, or was a place near of Edinburgh, where everything has been recorded. The guys wanted to, especially Dudley wanted to get the energy of and the vibe of the place, even if it wasn't a proper studio. There was a strange acoustic, a strange reverb on it, but they choose to do all the stuff back there. And the second place is actually a Graham's place, which is not far from Edinburgh, but we made all the synth and vocals at this place, which was more comfortable for everyone to gather at this place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first place was pretty comfy. Yeah, so the first place was basically, we rented for, I think, about 3 weeks straight We were
wow.
all sleeping there, and we basically set up our own live room in what is, so it's a big house, and on the side of it, attached as a sort of holiday let home, they have this like 16th century big stone tower. So we basically took everything out of the base of that, brought in all the cabs, all the drum kits, and that was our live room for 3 weeks whilst we slept next door.
And that gave you a different sound with the stone reverbing off, going off the stone.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
wow!
So we had like a huge stone ceiling. So yeah, I mean, I'm not the producer, but yeah, or the drummer. But yeah, they were really happy with all the sort of natural acoustics and it's just a bit different place, and something that again influences like how you're writing and how you're playing.
Oh, nice. So, hey Dan, how'd you get your guitar tone? Like I was saying earlier, did you like how'd you dial that in, or was it everybody else kind of? Because your tone is your tone. Writing's kind of different. How do you like your tone sounding? Has there any other equipment changed for you this time around?
So again, I mean, like Alan and Victor did the guitars on this, but obviously, I mean, Alan quite near tone. We've actually gone. So my tone has come dialed probably back a bit from the last album. The last album I was using like 5150 sort of setup, whereas now I'm on a sort of more martially tone. Same with when Alan did it on the album. He was using a sort of, I can't remember what the exact head was, but he essentially just had it cranked fairly clean running head with an OD pedal in front of it. But I mean, the tone throughout all of us for the band, one comes from just ragging some tube heads on very, very loud pushed volumes. And then there's a lot of sort of lower tunings we play around in as well that adds to that sort of definitely on the low end. We like a big free tone on the guitar front.
Oh yeah.
But then also Victor has things like Victor uses 9-string guitars, so all the high strings on the guitars are all doubled like a 12-string. So you get a low string that's down in G sharp, so almost in a death metal tuning, and then a chorused guitar on top of that. So yeah, there's tone hunting's always the chase. I don't think anyone ever finalizes their tone.
Yeah, probably while you're recording still, you're like, no, go a little deeper. Let's twist this a little bit. Max,
constantly taking photos of the guitar amp and then going back the next week and changing it anyway. So,
Max, what about you? How'd you dial your sound in? Because I know you said you had a lot of cinematic influences and game influences, but was there anything else you were changing on your setup, or any new gear that you had to get? Like, I need this to add to this.
Well, it's actually more complicated than that. We thought about doing all the synth with the live rig I was using, because the main plot was it's got to sound like it's on the album, which will never happen. But I was using the bunch of synths I'm using live, and Grim, the producer, had also a lot of interesting things, a lot of good synths and pedal. For example, he had a Mellotron. Don't know if you know this kind of old. This is a very old thing, but it sounded too well. We made layers and layers on Mellotron on a lot of parts on the album. And after that, I was with my basic synth trying to mimic all that. Plus, he had a bunch of pedal. But we added quite a lot of things actually. But I tried to keep it the most straightforward and more simple. When I was choosing the part I was actually playing live, because we made so much layers on those synth parts and so much things throughout all the record, which ended like there was a lot of things that we don't need to play live. So there was a lot of work choosing the actual parts, choosing the sound that will make the cuts, and also we had to rethink all the amplification stuff, because a lot of these sounds on the album are not passing through amps, which I'm actually doing on stage. So all the sounds I kept from the album sessions changed drastically because of the amps. So there was a lot of back and forth between different tones and stuff. But we managed to find something quite interesting with Victor, and now that's pretty much like it. And I would say that even some tiny parts get sort of improved. And for the forthcoming album, which is not on the table yet, but I may already have some tracks of what I'm going to do, which I will 100% sure I will not follow, but still there's some room left and open doors to what's next.
Yeah, when you guys are recording, do you guys have any leftover songs, or how does it go about choosing, like, this song's good, this will make the album, let's push this one off to the ideas bin maybe for the next album or so?
Yeah. No, there's always a leftover riff bin. I think this is the first, like the last album, and possibly the album before. I think there were entire songs that were recorded and then we dropped.
Wow.
This one, I think we'd got down to the point where we'd had a lot more time to demo this one, I think, so we didn't quite get to the point where we were recording and then dropping entire songs. But even near the end of the process, there's probably chunks of songs that were coming out or bits getting added back in. That's like, until you get to that final day of going, right, this is it, we need to make a decision. There's always chopping and changing.
Hey, that's awesome. But how would you guys describe the overall sound and feel to this album then? Like, how would you guys, like, I mean, obviously you like it, but...
I would say more straightforward than the previous one. Like, we tried to make things more dynamic and more intense also. It has been maybe also more live focused. Not sure of that, but there was tiny elements when we were thinking of some parts were like think live, and the way of thinking it played live was also a way of seeing things that changed compared to what we've been what the boys have been doing back there, because I wasn't there for Dvne Interview, so maybe then we could add some more intels on it.
Yeah, I think what you're saying about the live thing's interesting as well, because we'd been out and toured Etterman as much as we had, that definitely kept in everyone's mind more this sort of idea of, okay, this song's cool, this sounds cool, but how's it going to work live? All right, this riff's big, let's make this big so when we get round to actually playing this, we can make it what it is. But yeah, so I think that's taken an influence, and yeah, as you say, it's more direct, probably more aggressive, even though it's probably lighter in bits as well.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's weird. It's heavy and mellow at the same time. Yeah,
it's a more direct album whilst being wider in concept. I don't know how that works. Maybe it doesn't.
Hey, it's great. It's great. I love it. So
we almost said, hey, this is our most violent album, and the first single off from it is Pleuroma. Believe it or not.
Hey, Dan. So you've been in the band since like the start. How do you see this from your first demo days to now? You're like, how do you see that transformation? Are you like, holy shit, like we've come a long way? Or you're like, we're all right, we're doing good?
Oh no, I mean, we're just really happy to be where we're at. I mean, the first demo days you're talking, we were spending 2 days in a mate's studio doing 6 tracks. And this way was 10, 12 weeks across 2 locations. So it's, looking back, it's very different. But I mean, we're really enjoying where we're at. It's been a lot of touring and a lot of work to get here, but getting to sort of do what is at the end of our day, like all the best hobby in the world for all of us.
Oh yeah.
And just getting to do that and going into an environment where you've just got that time and space to work on things as you want to do, is worth it.
Hell yeah. Max, how have you enjoyed your time joining them now?
You mean enjoying the time I spent?
Yeah. Like, since you joined and everything. Sorry. I'm still trying to wake up.
Yeah,
so I'm
I'll just leave the room for a second.
Actually, when I joined you, when Victor phoned me and asked if I wanted to join the band, I was kind of not quite understanding what was happening. But as soon as we get onto those songs and we started to play together, things went quite smoothly and quite I wouldn't say easily, because I had a lot of trouble in various songs, because I came from a black metal band actually, and
nice.
the how can I say that? the difficulty of the song of that band was that big. June difficulty of the songs were like, so I basically had to relearn the instrument and also learn a lot of. So it was quite challenging and quite fun. But as soon as we were getting on stage and playing those things, like there was some sort of energy coming up. But things were going quite simple and logical. So. There hasn't been a single moment that I regret with this band.
Oh, that's awesome.
So far, it's great fun, great gigs, and also great moments off the stage. So it's all good. It's quite different than the other band I've been into and I'm still into, but still good.
Yeah. So
also, there's a lot of difference between the UK bands and the French band that I wasn't expecting at the time. And when I discovered the UK way of doing things, things have pretty much changed a lot on I wouldn't say philosophical scheme, that some sort of there are a lot of things change on my vision of things. So seeing those two worlds were quite interesting for me also.
Hey, that's awesome. I was gonna say, is there a difference between French bands and UK bands? And you kind of answered it. You bringing any black metal influence into the band at least?
No, they have their own black metal influence. That listen to you listen.
Yeah,
to
that was probably me back in the day. We have one song 2 albums ago with blast beats on.
Yeah.
They didn't wait for me to enjoy almighty black metal, but no, I would say the big difference between French and basically mainland bands before UK is that the culture, the rock culture, the musical culture is quite different. Even the approach of the band in itself. I'm based on what I experienced so far with other bands, but the way of thinking things in the UK appears to me more, I would say, straightforward. I've seen that word at least 5 times since the beginning of the interview, but there's a more simple and more direct way of thinking things in the UK. I would say that in France we maybe overthink things a bit much. I would say, based on my personal history, but that might change between people. But that's the main part. Like, I would say in the UK it's just dudes playing guitar, and the things are going more directed.
Oh, hey, so take a step back from music. I know, Dan, you're into Warhammer. Max, like, what are you guys' hobbies outside of this? Do you even have time for anything else?
I mean, I've managed to just about fit some painting time in for the Warhammer every week. And then on top of that, a few computer games here and there. I mean, I grew up doing a lot of gaming when I was a kid.
Nice. What are you playing right now?
Right now, I am on the latest Total War patch. For not to sound like I'm doing nothing but Warhammer, but for the Warhammer Total War. So I'm on that as well.
Are you playing 3? Yeah, right.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm on 3 at the moment. But I've just started New Dwarfs in that. And then what did I boot up the other day? Cuphead. Cuphead I've been playing this week.
That game's too hard for me.
I completed it like a couple of years ago, and I was like, I need something to keep the fingers.
You playing the new DLC? Right?
Wow, you're the best trainer in the world. What have you done? I finished Cuphead 3 times.
Finished Cuphead on hard, mate. It's the best warm-up you can do before a show.
Should try that before playing a game.
Yeah.
Doing Cuphead's level in cooperation.
Right. What about you, Max?
But I know Max has always got games on the go.
I guess that most of the time, the free time I get, apart from my work at the band, is basically video games and watching movies. But video games takes this might be actually a problem, because when I'm into a video game, I can.
Yeah, it's like.
These days, I'm into doing all the. I'm actually playing all the Yakuzas before getting into Infinite Wealth, and I'm actually stuck on the 5th episode of Yakuza, which is great, and I've done all the others apart from that one. That's the last one before getting into Infinite Wealth. And how could I say that? I love karaoke.
do you like it in person and in the game too? Because
no. I'm too shy to basically go on a real karaoke. But karaoke in Yakuza is one of my hobbies. No, apart from that, I'm playing also Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, that game's a time sink.
Yeah.
See, I started on that when it came out, and then I lost 2 weeks somewhere, and then I just haven't gone back because I can't remember anywhere where I got to in it, and I just left it.
That's the problem. Yeah,
I can't be bothered going back and reading through my logbook.
That's the problem with these kind of games. Like, you put so much time into it, and then as soon as you walk away, you're like, fuck, I don't remember anything I was doing. Like, that's why I like arcades, because I can pick these up. Like, I have a whole line back there of, like, all original arcades, and I could just pick that up and play for 5-10 minutes, and I'm like, cool, you know?
Yeah, they're going to be hard enough that you're dead within 10 minutes, right? Well,
yeah.
So unless you got your free credit going. It's a nice, easy one.
Yeah, you got to put a free play.
Between band practice, recording, Warhammer, and Baldur's Gate, and trying to find time for my own D&D group in the outside world, it was
you guys bring anything on the go, though? Do you have anything, or like...
You've usually got your... What have you got, Max? Your Switch, usually. There's usually a couple of Switches kicking about.
Yes. Actually, I put a lot of games in my Switch, since we'll be off for 2 months on tour. I bought Final Fantasy 7 to 9, so 7, 8, and 9. And I'm gonna do all of them on the van. Nice. Maybe I'm also gathering a good bunch of DVDs to put on the tele in the van. If we got a tele on the van, which is not quite sure, but I'm also gathering all the weird movies from the 80s.
Really? Like what kind of movies? Horror movies, sci-fi, what you got?
All of them. Like a couple of days ago, I found that the Leprechaun 5 existed. I get that on DVD, and I'm on a quest to find the 4 previous episodes. That knows about them, but...
those movies are great.
Yeah. Oh, I know all about Leprechaun, mate.
And I want to have a moment where all the rest of the band is actually watching Leprechaun and saying, oh, this is the last time that you're putting a movie. But apart from that, no, all sorts of movie actually. I'm on a Japanese road these days, especially a Japanese director called Sonosion, the one who directed Suicide Circle and Tokyo Tribe. Don't know if you ever heard of that.
No.
Well,
I'll have to check them out. I'll probably try to rewatch this to write that down because I love all those kind of movies.
Well, this director has a very strange way of doing movies. He's doing a lot of them, and they are not equal in terms of quality. But Suicide Circle is must see, definitely.
I'll have to check that out.
Strange movie about a wave of children committing suicide in Tokyo, and you probably seen that meme with Japanese schoolgirls jumping onto a tramway road. And
yeah.
That's from
nice.
From Suicide Circle.
I'll definitely want to check it out.
That sounds like nice light van view in that map.
Holy, I bet you
yeah. Nice.
What was it you had last time when we were in the Eurotunnel? Was it Cronenberg?
Existence.
Existence. Yeah, that was it.
Existence in the Eurotunnel. So bad that we hadn't finished.
You guys ever watch Gummo?
Gummo?
Yeah, check that out. You want something weird and trippy? It has like Bathory in it. Like it's a weird movie about like kids in the Midwest. They're like killing cats and doing weird stuff. It's weird.
Totally my game. I'm
watch it. Gummo. Gummo. Check that out. You want something weird? There you go. Like the first opening, like scene is the band Sleep. Dragnot's playing with these kids riding down this street on a bike. So it's pretty cool.
All right. I've just seen that it has been directed by Harmony Korine. That's totally my game. Thanks for the.
There you go. please watch that. I always love giving people that movie because it's so fucking out there. But I'm definitely I want to get some, maybe put in the chat so I can get some movies too. I fucking love that stuff, please. Appreciate it. So, you're gonna just go on the European tour? When are you guys coming to North America? Any plans for that? Because I want to see you guys.
Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, we managed to get out for a couple of dates. It's about 4 or 5 years ago now, I think. We came out, did Vegas and did San Diego. But yeah, I mean, these things are always in the talks. We'd love to get out to the States. Get out to North America, get out to South America, constantly being asked for both. It's just a matter of the stars aligning, basically. There's a lot these days. We've got a lot extra we need to sort out. Going to Europe now, post Brexit over here, and
how is that?
Getting back and forth to the States is a lot of paperwork that no one really is bothered about or checks when you get to customs. A lot of sitting around for 2 hours in customs for no one to actually put you down before you go through. So yeah, good. Gone from just being able to drive wherever we wanted a few years ago to
I know
to not being able to anymore. But these things happen.
But
yeah, I mean, hopefully we get out to the States. If not end of this year, but hopefully next year, if we can. Obviously talking to the guys from Metal Blade over there as well about what we can do with that. It's just getting 6 people over to the States isn't the easiest.
It sucks because it seems like my buddies that are in bands, they're going on local tours. Even just doing local tours, it's gotten so expensive everywhere. It just seems like, is it like it seems like from my point of view when I've talked to bands, it's easier to do short stints, like we're gonna only go a month or 2 months, kind of localized, or just play fest. How do you guys see that has changed? Like, what's the more cost effective way? And then I don't know if you guys are getting merch cuts from venues and stuff, but some of that shit sucks. I don't believe in any of that.
Yeah, I mean, the festivals still have, a lot of them will have the merch cut because they're the ones handling the actual merch and their big merch desk at the festival, which is fair enough. I mean,
that makes sense.
With venues, most of the venues, they won't take a merch cut.
That's good.
It's our merch to do what we want within them, and they've got their fees. That's all settled before, and they don't usually. I don't think market tends to be the norm out in Europe for venues to be taking that. But I mean, yeah, cost wise. I mean, your petrol doubled last year, just about. So gas for the Americans. But petrol, I mean, we noticed that even just going around the UK for a week last year cost us twice what it would have done in fuel and even like congestion charges now everywhere, which obviously we need, but when you're in a van and there's like, I think we got blasted with a couple of fines because we didn't actually know about certain congestion charges, certain cities.
Congestion charges?
There are them. Congestion charges that's a UK thing, which is if you drive into a city. So London's always had this.
Yeah.
So if you want to drive into the middle of London in a car, you have to pay. If you want to do that in a van, you have to pay about 4 times as much. But now they've brought that in most cities in the UK, so you're probably looking at about 30-40 quid surcharge.
Jeez.
So these are all just things that get added onto our rider costs, basically, or less rider for us. But you need to pay them, because if you don't, you get slapped with about a 200 quid fine. So it's to be aware of. But I mean, everything's gone up in cost. I'm sure it's the same for you guys over there.
Oh yeah, trust me.
Life is expensive at the moment, but we find time for it.
No, that's great. So yeah, just park farther away and just walk. You know.
Yeah. There's just a lot of boards on wheels to get those cabs in.
We had 24 skateboards and 5 dudes pulling the skateboard all across Europe.
Nice.
For 5 years.
So, gentlemen, we've talked about a lot of topics today. I've had a great time talking to you. The new album's coming out on the 19th of April, Voidkind. Is there anything else you guys want to plug real quick? I'm going to basically right now all your tour dates, the European tour dates are going to be posted across here. Anything else you want to say to everybody watching?
Nah, just hope you're all as excited for the new album as we are, and can't wait to see some of you out on this next couple of months or so.
Hell yeah.
Looking forward to move across the ocean in a year or two also. I guess that we are we'll be on it in a couple of years, I guess. That will make it.
June worldwide.
Yeah, yeah. I hope so. I know people in North America, me especially, you're gonna stop in LA first, right? That's the first run.
Oh, of course. First and last date, right?
Hell yeah, there you go. But gentlemen, thank you for your time. It's been an honor talking to you all. I hope you have a great tour and a great rest of your evenings, actually.
Great, thanks, man. Have a good day. I hope you'll manage to get those Bruce Dickinson tickets.
Right? I don't know. I think that line's wrapped around the corner by now. So
thanks it was wonderful time speaking with you. Looking forward to watch that video.
Hell yeah, and I look forward to your things.
Oh,
all right, guys, take it easy. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, man.
Awesome, mate. Cheers for that.